moving, got to keep on moving on, keep going on, got to keep on moving on.
All can make it
In life,
you got to get focused.
Keep on moving,
Sky is the limit.
You got to get there, keep moving, keep marching on.
You can make it
In life,
you got to get focused.
Keep on moving,
Sky is the limit.
You got to get there, keep moving, keep marching on.
Keep on moving.
Keep moving, keep marching on.
Welcome to yet another insightful and inspirational episode of ABLED Differently. I am Juliana Wegesa.
And me, Jairus Ongeta. Information is power. That is why our current constitution has a provision for access of information for citizens. So today's show revolves around awareness. Welcome.
Keep moving, keep marching on.
Recently, Akon Special Tutorials organized an event at Karen Community Church with one objective: to create awareness on Down syndrome condition. Take a look.
Akon Special Tutorials held the Down Syndrome Day at the Karen Community Center.
It's a program that caters for persons with special needs, especially in the area of intellectual impairments. I'm the one who organized this Down Syndrome Day today because we felt that Down syndrome is also a condition that needs to be celebrated, and we've not had such a celebration before, and the reason and what happened today was that we were able to meet lots of parents, children with Down syndrome, and they were able to have a panel session where they discussed a lot of issues pertaining to Down syndrome. And we hope this is going to be something that we will be able to do every year, creating awareness, opening doors for children with Down syndrome, and really trying to practice inclusion. And when we talk about inclusion, is that the more people see our children with Down syndrome, the more they're able to accept them, and then accept them in the classrooms also and in society.
The organization caters for children with special needs in the community, and the purpose therefore was to create awareness for Down syndrome.
We do this quite regularly. We have awareness creating events in slum areas and in rural areas where we invite families who have a child with disability to get more advice, and also we try to give them very concrete information and advice on how they can deal with the child themselves, because our slogan is helping you help your child. So we really see the parent or the caregiver as the main person in the whole intervention.
It was through inspiration that Akon was born.
The inspiration for this day actually is my daughter, Malaika, who is going to come at some point. And from when she came and the journey that we have traveled with her, just trying to get the proper services and just to be included in society has been an interesting journey. So we thought if we had something like this, that we are creating awareness, sensitizing the community about people like Malaika, it would be easier for them to be accepted and integrated into the society.
The event, which was first of its kind, saw parents with their children show up in great numbers with a promise of having other events in the future.
Even in adulthood, these are people who may find it challenging to live independently. Otherwise, Down syndrome children, a lot of the times they're happy children. Initially the weight gain might be slow, but eventually they catch up. So ours is to encourage parents to seek care for their children. If they have a few complications like maybe heart disease, that too can be managed, and most of them can live a long and happy life.
There was the caregivers session, which was an open discussion on matters concerning Down syndrome.
Pia watoto huzaliwa na mara nyingine kuna chakula ambazo huwa wanakula ambazo hawawezi kubreak down. Whatever you have at your disposal, information in particular.
Pauline gives us the medical aspect of Down syndrome.
Down syndrome is a genetic condition which means that somebody is born with this problem. And children with Down syndrome, it's not the fault of the parents or anybody's fault during delivery or pregnancy. It's something innate or within the child and cannot be removed from the child. But this condition, all it means is that the child may have certain special needs from a medical point of view. They may be delayed. For example, children we know normally sit at about 6 months of age. This child may end up sitting at about 9 months or even 12 months. And once a child is diagnosed to have Down syndrome, and ideally that diagnosis should be given to the parents in a gentle manner as early as possible. This is a child who will require therapy, who will require to go see the therapist so that they can help this child achieve milestones.
Children with Down syndrome have one major challenge, as she explains.
Down syndrome children are children full of hope, because we know that in as much as they are delayed, a lot of them eventually develop abilities which some other children may never develop. So the main challenge with children with Down syndrome has to do with issues regarding independence. For example, a child at age 13 can, for example, take themselves from church to home or from school to home easily on their own and make certain decisions. But children with Down syndrome find it difficult, depending upon the degree of intelligence, they find it difficult to make decisions.
ACON had other organizations come in to support their cause.
We are here to offer support to the organizers of this event, because we are very close in this family of people with disabilities. But we also, in case parents would come to our stand, we can give them information about where to go for services, what is important when you have a child with Down syndrome.
There were also those who have made it through the challenges and are now all grown up.
What I can say, the organization, it is not that they are setting me the way I am. In fact, I'm now trying to improve the organization to have a disability-friendly environment.
Later on, there were activities full of entertainments such as acrobatics, dancing and bouncing castles.
On the quote of the day, Jackson Brown says, "The best preparation for tomorrow is doing your best today." What do you think?
For one to be successful, they have to start putting the efforts today and working hard today. So like I can use the analogy of a seed. You have to put the seed down on the ground today for you to see the harvest or the fruits tomorrow. So let's take a short break. We will be right back.
Keep moving, keep marching on. Keep moving, keep marching on.
Welcome back. If you've just joined us, this is ABLED Differently. When she was in class 7, Grace Wanjiru was diagnosed with spina bifida condition. This turn of events changed her life completely. Take a look at her story.
She is a fourth born in a family of 5 siblings from Laikipia County.
I come from Laikipia County, at a place called Narwa. I'm born in a family of 5. I'm the fourth born, and currently I'm studying Kenyatta University as a student, pursuing education art.
She was in class 7 at the time, and life was as normal as can be until she was diagnosed with spina bifida.
According to the doctors, they say that I was born with a problem called spina bifida. I have a spina bifida, but they didn't know until when I was in class 7. I was okay, I was running, I was doing everything until 2007. Okay, by 2003, there was some signs, but still I could walk with a lot of difficulties. But 2009 is when it was worse. And by that time, from 2003 to 2009, the problem was not discovered.
Earlier on, Grace's initial symptoms were weakness in her legs while walking. Well, that was back in 2003.
Since I was born in 2003, I was normal. You couldn't see any sign at all. But 2003, that's when I started walking abnormally. Like, I don't know how I was walking. I was walking as if I'm running, like I'm jumping, and I couldn't able to see clearly. I used to fall when I'm walking. I fell many times, and this was like, why are you falling many times? Because I could drag my legs. So if there's a stone, then I could just fall.
Accepting the situation as a family was not easy, and although it was difficult for them, it was much harder for her.
It was a big issue. You see, I come from village. You know, village, many people talk about many things. There are people who could say maybe caste, and those people could say maybe it's a family issues. Because it's not normal. I didn't fall down. Like, we can say it was an injury. It's something was just coming slowly by slowly, you know. So many things, they talk many things, and then you see my mom was very short. He was not aware what was going through, you know. My dad was that, he couldn't accept that things to extent he was like, no, he's not my child, I don't know what's happening. So they were so much disturbed. To accept the situation, it was not easy. And also for me, it was not easy.
The burden of balancing the family's needs and Grace's situation laid heavily on her mother's shoulders. The time for the family to be united was during this trying moment, but instead, the father walked out, leaving his family under the mother's care. Fortunately, a certain organization came to their rescue.
We were in the same room or in the same house, but what he was doing is that he would not give anything like towards me, because maybe to him I would die or I was not that important in the family. So okay, my mom was a bit stronger to handle the situation, and he's the one who could take me to hospital, to clinics, because this organization, it's called St. Martin Nyahururu. They do therapy and then they support maybe financially for medication, and via counseling.
Throughout her education, the organization has paid her fee and played a vital role in the person she has been today.
The organization came in. First of all, they took the responsibility to pay my school fees, because by that my mom could not manage. You see, I was not the only child. We are 5, although my elder brother and sister, they were done with school, but at least they had my younger sister and my niece who was still under care of my mom. So the responsibility was that heavy for my mom. So they came in, they paid for me for school fees. So my mom was just providing me upkeeps. Yeah.
Although the father has accepted his daughter's current situation and moved back with the family, he still has a long way to go.
Currently, he has a great hope in me. Like you see, I'm studying, I went to high school, now I'm in university. At least he can see I can make it. Okay, that has really changed his mind towards me. Okay, that's already he's changed.
She had done well in her final exam of primary education and received a letter to join high school, but she had to wait a week or so for school to make changes in its infrastructure in order to accommodate her.
I got admission in Jojo Girls High School. They had to push on that you have to be in the school. So despite that, there's no infrastructure, because there was no infrastructure. They pushed, like, this girl has a right to be in here, to study here, so do something. And I thank God, by that time the principal, although he didn't know how to handle people with disability. I think it is because they never admitted that kind of a person before, but he cooperated. He constructed the toilets, the ramp towards the class and everywhere. Right now it is disability friendly.
Grace encountered lots of challenges in high school, but with time, she learned to cope and live with what she couldn't change.
It was not easy. First of all, I can talk about infrastructure. You know, to make to renovate and to make sure that everywhere is just smooth. It's not a one day thing. It took a time. Maybe it took almost 2 years. Almost 2 years to make sure that everywhere is cemented. There's a ramp. Everything is okay. It took almost 2 years, and by that time, I was passing through difficult because you find that I want to go to somewhere, but it's not cemented, it is mud, and I have to get there. So you see, sometimes I used to stuck. My friend used to get tired because they have to push me on the mats and everything. Sometimes it's too raining and we are rained on. You see, it was challenging.
Just like any other child who dreams to be someone when they grow up, Grace was no exception, and she dreamt big.
I love being a teacher, okay, but I wanted to be a lawyer, but I didn't pass very well to go to school of law. So now that I didn't manage to go to school of law, I opted to be a teacher. Yeah, for many reasons. One is that I really loved it. It was my second option. Secondly, you look at the job availability and everything, access and everything, employment in Kenya and everything. So I think it was more appropriate for me.
Of all the institutions she has gone through, Grace feels that the university has been the best so far, and in particular the Kenyatta University, which has gone the extra mile to make life for those with disabilities friendlier.
I can say university is the best place to be for persons with disabilities. It's the best of the best. First of all, is you know, when you are admitted in Kenyatta University, there's this culture. For example, when you get to Form 1, you'll get people with disability. We interact with people with disability in classes and everywhere. So like when you come to school and find that there are people with disability and they are being helped by your fellow student, you also want to do that. When you find that they are not discriminated, you also not discriminate them.
As a personal initiative, Wanjiru has made it her business to create awareness on a daily basis on disability issues.
What I usually do is that I like to involve in many activities that are happening in KU, like clubs, like in there are many groups you can involve in school. And by that time, when you join those groups, those people are very new to you. They don't know you. So you let them to know you. By that, they accept you. Okay, you know, they see you as just a normal person instead of maybe staying alone.
Keep moving, keep marching on.
Let's take a look at the UN Convention on the Rights of Persons with Disabilities.
The UN Convention on the Rights of Persons with Disabilities states that state parties recognize the rights of persons with disabilities to work on an equal basis with others. This includes the right to the opportunity to gain a living by work freely chosen or accepted in a labor market and work environment that is open, inclusive and accessible to persons with disabilities.
That is all the time we had today. Let's meet next week for another episode of ABLED Differently.
You can as well keep the conversation going by interacting with us on our social media sites as ABLED Differently and on our text line on 22162, starting with capital AD. Until next week, I have been your host, Jairus Ongeta.
And me, Juliana Wegesa.
Bye.
When I'm with you, Jehovah, I don't